Maseches Bava Kama Daf Lamed Amud Beis. Maseches Bava Kama Daf Lamed Amud Beis. Yeah, that's right. Kol Kodem Ben Zocho. We said yesterday, today's issue and yesterday's issue, this Amud is about confiscating something that disturbs other people. Not the way that the Kita Aleph teacher confiscates the new electronic game from the children, but that means that when a person placed something in the Shus Rabbi, which is a public hazard, then other people may take possession of it. It's up for grabs. Now, when does that apply and how does that apply? Let's have a quick look at the beginning of the Amud, then skip to where we are today. Okay, which is, I'll show you where. Says the Gemara in the first wide line, with the very beginning of the Amud Lamed. Sorry. Kol kodem en zocho. Omar Rav ben begufan ben beshivchon. V'zeiri Omar beshivchon avaloi begufan. Which means Rav says when a person placed some straw, a whole load of straw in the street. Why does he put straw in the street in certain times of year? Because the straw, even though it's slippery, he doesn't want them to slip in it, but he wants them to walk all over it until the straw becomes a bit more, whatever, it decays, begins to decompose, and that makes a terrific, very nice fertilizer for your field. He's turning a prince into a frog, not the other way. In other words, but in this case, he wants the frog, not the prince. We're going to the prince. The frog is more useful. In other words, Hidavka wants the straw to become garbage, become zevel, because that's a good fertilizer. Now, that's all very nice, but people may slip in it and fall and break their heads. Mister. So now, says Rav, when the Mishnah said, Kol kodem ben zocho, the Mishnah said, whoever gets it and grabs it belongs to him. It's a hefker welt. That is ben beguf and ben beshivchan. That applies to both the body of the, what I would call the principle, the body, the original value of the kash, of the straw. Let's say the straw is worth 10 shekels, okay? After it's been already trampled upon, not that people fell on it, stepped all over, and then it's worth already 50 shekels. This is good, like the equivalent of manure. It's a fertilizer. You can sell it in the store. So instead of 10, it's now 50. So the principle is 10. The revach, the extra, is the shvach. The improvement is worth 40. So Mimela, how much can the person take? The one who comes to grab it, and we sort of confiscate it from the first, we don't confiscate it b'chavano, but if anybody else took it, he's allowed to take it. That will be discussed later exactly how it's done. So then Rav says both the actual body and the extra, everything can be taken. In other words, he takes the entire thing worth 50 shekels, and the original owner wakes up in the morning, he wants to see, Nunu, how is my zevel doing? Oh, zevel, how are you doing? Nothing, the zevel is taken away. Zevel, chemical, anything taken away. The whole thing, hook, line, and sinker. The Zeiri, by the way, says the Zeiri was a Talmid of Rav. Here's a Talmid arguing on his rabbi. Zeiri says, B'shivchan avaloi begufan. Zeiri says no. The only thing that we're upset about is that he's trying to make money out of on the back of the public, of the taxpayer, under the feet of the taxpayer, of the pedestrian. So what we're going to take from him is a shvach. In other words, if you take the kash, that improved the kash straw that became zevel, it's worth 50. You're not allowed to take the goof. You're not allowed to take the principle. I don't know how you can separate it. I didn't see anything in the Meforshim or Shulchan Aruch. I guess you give him the change. You take the 50. You take the new improved version of kash, which is now nice fertilizer. But says Zehiri, you only take from him the shvach, the extra. But the basics you give back to him. Either you give him cash in 10 shekels, or maybe you give him a piece of some of the straw, maybe a fifth of the straw, but somehow you only take the shvach and you cannot take the principle. 1 second. B'maika miflagi, says the Gemara, what's the source of the argument? What really are they arguing about? Rav soval konsu gufan mishum shvachon. Rav says the coin is the goof because of the shvach. Rav says, I agree with you, Zahiri, my dear Talmid. It's true that the shvach is really what's bothering us, that he's trying to make money. The extra is really what should be taken. The body of the thing should not be taken. So make exera. Many times chachami make zeros. This is one exera. We're goizer to take everything, to teach him a lesson, to tell him not only the actual gain is what you're losing, but even the principle you're going to lose. We're going to see a similar case afterwards by Ribis. Yeah, you lose everything because we want to be strict with you. You did something illegal, you're disturbing everybody, you're bothering everybody, and therefore everything will be taken away from you. Zil Soval, it's very simple. Zil says no. Zil says we don't have to be that strict and we don't have to take everything. The shvach should be taken because that's an extra gain which he doesn't deserve. He's not getting it the right way. But the basics, the principle, is not taken away from him. And then Westward Galal, yeah, we're not yet in North Korea. Enjoy the freedom. The bus is nearing the border. Yes. Line starts. We're skipping a few lines now on purpose because this is just Chazorah. A line starts with the word vehahoifech, a few lines down. Hahoifech is a galal l'shus harabim. V'uzak ben acher chayev. What about a galal? Galal is a piece of, of the whatever, of the dog. Feces, dung, and what? And somebody picked it up, what a beautiful thing, and now he put it back down. Chayev, the other person was muzak, he's chayev, he's using white gloves, don't worry, corona gloves, like you remember a year and a half ago. So then he wants to be zoiche, then he put it back down. The other person came and tripped over it and slipped and whatever happened. Chayev, or it was his clothes, like you correctly said, chayev. The second guy is chayev. Also mishum gezel. What's also mishum gezel? Also mishum gezel means, because we're talking here about galal. Galal has no gain. Galal stays the same. Galal has no potential. That's what his teacher wrote to him in the report card. Yeah, galal has no potential. Galal was 10 shekels, remains 10 shekels forever and ever. Galal does not improve when people walk all over it as opposed to the straw. Now, galal is there for only principle. There is no other thing. It doesn't raise any dividends, There's just the basics of the galal. Now, look at the Mishnah that says outright that you're not allowed to take the galal. Why? Because you're taking the principle, and principle you're not allowed to take. That's against Rav. That's what we asked yesterday. That doesn't work right with Rav. Rav said you're allowed to take everything. Rav says everything's up for grabs. Go, boy, go. And therefore, l'chora, the galal should also be something I can take. So what if it's only the principle? Rav said that when I have a cash, when I have straw, I can take the principle and the gain and the extra, hook, line, and sinker, everything. So why does the galal, here's a Mishnah, Rav usually doesn't argue with Mishnayos unless he has to. Why is the Mishnah telling me that the galal I'm not allowed to take? Omar Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak, and so that was the end of the shiur yesterday. And let's continue. Omar Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak, galal karamis. You're asking him from galal. It's not the same story. It's not the same story at all. Dover sheyesh bo shevach kon sugufa mishum shvochoy. A dover sheyesh bo shevach, something that has gain, that has extras, kon sugufa mishum shvochoy. Then you take everything together, the goof together with the shvach. When the 10 shekel became 50 shekel on our expense, mister, not only we take the 40, we also take the 10 because it's the same item that grew dividends, that grew extras. Dover she'en bo shevach, the galal has no shevach. Galal is goofy. He's a goofy guy. It's only the principle, nothing else. Loi konsu, makes a lot of sense, there's no knas. Maybe that would ease your pain, Jeffrey. In other words, now we explain Rav better. When it's the same item, which was 10, and you are gaining something here, not in such a nice way, everything will be taken. It's a bit like Keren and Ribis. But when the thing was only principle and stayed that way, and I'm not trying to gain anything, I still left my galal in the street. Why? I don't know why. Because I don't want it in my back door. Because my shviga is coming to visit. She doesn't like, from some reason, to see galal in the middle of the dining room. I'm not sure why. I don't know why, but she doesn't. So then I put it outside in the street like a good citizen who throws the garbage in the street instead of leaving it home. Mimela what? Mimela, in this case, I'm not trying to gain anything. Stam. Principle. Mimela, in that case, there is no knas. And Rav is also okay with that. All very nice. Ad kan Shabbos Hagodol. Ad kan yesterday. Yiboilu. Now we start today's shiur. Yiboilu. That a question. Now a question that developed, by the way, this question is now focusing on Rav's opinion. If this was a flow chart with Rav, with Zeiri, now we're focusing on Rav. Yiboilu. That a question of Besmedosh. The one who says that you do, yes, you cancel everything. You take away the principle. You throw yes, you do throw the baby with the bathwater. You take everything, the basics together with the shvach. Le'alter kansinan, do we take the knas right away? Do we allow to right away, as he placed it in Rashus Ha-Rabbi, before it gained any profit, are you allowed to take the kasher straw straight away? Or do we only apply the knas when it started growing profit? When can Shimon, the grabber, Shimon the opportunist, when can Shimon actually take the straw of Reuven the criminal? Can you do it straight away and say, hey, I can take the goof. You took straw, fresh straw. I don't want zevel. I want fresh straw from my bessie, my cow. And Mimela, can I take it already now when it's goof? Or do we wait until it becomes shvach, and then when you really did the wrong thing by profiting, creating profit at the expense of others in a way, then you can take everything. When is that done? And that's a question, halacha. By the way, who do you think is halacha like, Rav or Zeiri? The Gemara is now asking a question, what would be according to Rav? That's already a telltale sign, halacha is like Rav. You should know a klal in halacha. Usually, when the Gemara brings down the opinion of X and Y and starts discussing at length Y, and X wasn't exactly slugged up, X wasn't rejected, but X is like, became irrelevant. Nobody talks about him anymore. And Y, we talk about it all the time, then usually halacha is like Y. Same thing over here. Rav and Zeiri, first of all, halacha is like Rav because he was a Rav and Zeiri was a Talmid. That so says the Meiri. Also, in my humble opinion, the fact that the Gemara discusses Rav more than Zeiri sounds like he's the one who, got the trophy. He's the one who got halacha lakim. So I have a question, when can not confiscation, it's not the right word. When is it up for grabs? At the beginning, right away, or only when shvach was created? Toshma, come in here. L'choira, from the previous question, I can give you an answer. Mide kairinan galal. 2 words. Irinan means we juxtaposed Galal. We basically, what I just told you now, we questioned from Galal to what? To Rav. Yeah, Galal was the one where there's no profit whatsoever. And we said, hey, according to you, Rav, Galal, it's wrong. It's wrong to take the Galal. Because according to you, Galal, why we saying Galal is wrong to be taken is also, according to Rav, it should be mutter, right? According to you, you can take the principle. So what if Galal is only principle? You're allowed to take the principle. Wait, if you want to tell me, look at Rashi, says it better than me, the Kenan Galal, look at Rashi, it's in a few lines above where we are, Media Karin and Galal. Go to the narrow lines, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, about 10 lines from the narrow lines. It's about the 10th narrow line in Rashi. Says Rashi, Midikarinan Galal alei de Rav. Since we question Rav from the story of the Galal, of that poor thing that will never grow better, Michlal, that is to say, if you ask something on someone and you're intelligent, like the Gemara, from the question you can tell what the person had in mind, right? The Iu Soval, Rav obviously thinks, La'alter kansinan. Of course, Rav thinks that you can take away the kash, the straw that can grow better, become fertilizer, you can take it straight away. Of course, the ire bosa, the isi shvacha, if Rav says you can only take the principle and everything once it grew into a 50 shekel, then there's no question from Galal. Mai rumia de Galal, halav shevach megalal. Galal is no shevach, right? In other words, from the fact that we question Rav from Galal, that is to say that Rav believes that Galal or anything like Galal, which is what? Straw at the very beginning before it developed, which is like Galal, potential, it has potential, but it didn't grow yet. The potential wasn't maximized. You see, Rav believes you can take it. Otherwise, what's the question from Galal? If Rav believes I can only take everything, goof and shvach, when it grew, wow, mushroomed into a beautiful 50 shekel fertilizer, and then he says you can take everything, then Galal is irrelevant. Galal is shtriot. We're asking me from Galal. I never said you can take just the principle which didn't yet grow into a profit. Answers the Gemara, very easy answer. You just have to rearrange the Gemara. So you don't know what was asked first. It says the Gemara, no. You think we asked about Galal before Rav Nachman said what he said, Galal Karomis, before Rav Nachman gave his answer? No. Lebosar Deshani Rav Nachman. Yeah, Galal Kalal, which means, that's a very good answer. Answers the Gemara, you got the order wrong, of course, which means First of all, the question was, when can the person take it? When can the person take the cash? Case number one, straw thrown into the street, worth 10 shekels. Then and it has potential to grow into an unbelievably beautiful, good-smelling fertilizer. It will be 50, 60 shekels. Whoa. Can I take it now? Right? Okay. Already, before anything bad happened, and which is not so justified, nothing bad happened yet, and no profit happened, or do I have to wait until it becomes 50 or 40 or 20 or something, and then I can take everything with a principle? That's question number one. If you tell me that I can take it right now, when the 10 shekel straw is worth 10 shekels, if that's what Rav says, then we'll challenge him from Galal. And we'll say, what? You're saying I can take something that did not yet grow, did not exponentially grow, didn't become better and bigger, and you say can take it now? What about Galal? Galal, which will never become better, right now is the same. In other words, there are two kids in Kita Aleph. One of them will become the next Stipler, the other one will stay more or less the same. But they're both the same level right now. They both did the same in the test of the Aleph base, right? So the Galal is the one who doesn't have potential, right? The one who has potential is the cash, the straw. So we say, wait a second, if you tell me that I can already take the straw right now, before anything happened, if you say that, I don't know, maybe yes, maybe no. If you say I can take the cash now, then I'll say, that's comparable to Galal. Why? You say that I can take it now, the principle itself, Galal is also just a principle. On that, the Gemara answered before, Nachman Yitzchak Galal Koromis. Says Gemara, no, it's not the same. Could be that only something that has potential to grow, and the person's trying to make an easy buck on the cheshbon of others, that person, we say, take the straw right away. But Galal, Stam, he just placed the Galal in the street. It's disturbing, it's bad, but it's not something to do with games. And therefore, there maybe, we should not maybe, therefore then we say there's Gezel. You're not allowed to touch his Galal because it's Gzela, because Enochinami, there is no gain there. Adkan. The next piece will be easier. I hope you got it. I'm open for questions. Questions and comments.
I'm assuming based on the
question. Lema ketanoi. The chayr we're trying to say now, machlokes Rav and Zeiri is a machlokes between two tanoim. And let's go now to the following case. Shtar shekosu boy ribis. Terrible issue d'oraisa last week's parsha. You know how many isurim are in ribis? 6 isurim. If you lend money by ribis, without heter iska, there should be a good heter iska on every document you write that may have ribis in it. Heter iska, and if not, there's ribis. Ribis includes 6 different lavim. And you know who's over the lav? The malve, the loive, I don't have to translate to English, the lawyer, the secretary, the edim, everybody that's involved in the shtar ribis is an avayre, straight away. In other words, once there's a halva beribis, even before, that's important to know for the hemshech, I'm not just giving you a halacha shmuz here. Basically, once a shtar choiv with ribis was written, that's already a black angel in heaven. It's already an avera, or 3 or 6 of them. Why? Because ribis is also, even if you didn't yet pay it, you could say that if you didn't yet pay and you tear the shtar and you do tshuva, fine, and you chozer b'tshuva. But l'maisa, the avera is straight away. Once there's ribis written, it's already an avera written and given. The shtar was given, and the shtar is in the hands of the malve. That's already an avera of ribis. The guy has 6 lavim. Okay, very nice. The guy's black kippah, doesn't make a difference for him. He's over 6 lavim every day. So beautiful. Lema ketanoi. Shtar shekosov boy ribis. What do you do with such a shtar that has ribis in it? Interest. Koin sin oisoy. Give him a knas. Ve'enu goyve lo yasakeren ve'lo yasaribis divrei Rabbi Meir. Says Rabbi Meir, now that person, the malveh, does not get anything at all. Zilch, 0, null. He does not get neither the ribis. Of course, ribis is also, that's not a chiddush, but he doesn't get the principal either. He lent what? $100,000 with ribis of 1% every month. That's a lot. So then, not only doesn't get the extra, he cannot be goyve anything from korkois, from mishubodim. He cannot be goyve not even the principal of 100,000. He lost everything. In other words, if the person gives him the money back, that's fine. Yeah, because Lamaisa, the money is owed to him, but he cannot claim it from a shubodim. He cannot knock on someone else's field. Remember the stories we had every time for many, many times, right? He cannot go to the loiva's customers, so to speak, the buyers, and say, your house belongs to me because it's meshubed to me. There's no shiba, no mortgage created by ribis. No, the actual cash, if it stays by him, fine, otherwise no. That begins to smell like our favorite cash over here, galal. Galal is no profit. It's like the straw that becomes manure. We have the basics, the keren, it's called keren, the principle, and also we have the ribis. What's the ribis like? The nice manure that was created. Says Rabbi Meir, you don't get anything. Who's Rabbi Meir like? Who's Rabbi Meir similar? Rav or Ziri? Rabbi Meir is a hardliner, Meir Machmir. He says you don't get anything. You don't get anything, not even the principle. Like who? Like Rav or like Ziri? Rav. And the winner is Ellen. The Chachamim wait. Go the Keren. The Keren you can the Keren he can take back. We didn't cancel him that much. The Ribis is not allowed to take back. But the Keren, yes, sounds like who? Like Zeiri. Says the Gemara, looks to me like Rabbi Meir follows, Rabbi Meir not follows, I mean, it's the other way. Rav follows Rabbi Meir. Zir is like Rabbanon. That's not good news. We're not happy right now. We're all sad-faced. Why? Amiroim repeating Mochlokes Tanoim, is not good. Why are they reinventing the wheel? Answers the Gemara, Nishtazo, everything is good, everything will be explained. Because really, there are two major differences, as explained by the Meiri, between Galal, that becomes profitable manure, fertilizer, and Ribis, that's money, that brings more money. Huge difference, halachically. Why? Amal Chorav, says Rav, I can manage very nicely even with Rabbanon. I dance at both chasanas. I can be good with Rabbanon and with Rabbi Meir. Rabbi Meir, of course. How can Rav be okay and coexist with Rabbanon? Rabbanon said by Ribis, you don't give a knas on the principle, only on the Ribis. That's not like Rav. Says Rav, don't worry. Ad kan lo kami Rabbanon hosem lekeren de beitero. Over there, is there any issue about the keren? It's a mitzvah. The first 100,000, the principal loan, is that a bad thing? It's mutter. The problem is that clause at the end, clause F3, that says every month you don't pay, there's nice 1%. And my good friend is Luciano, and he knows where you live. He knows where you sleep. You know that? Yeah? So when you have such a clause of ribis, that's a problem. The keren is a good thing. The keren is not a problem. Therefore, I wouldn't say we're not canceling on keren. No fine there. Over here, the keren is what's bothering us, right? It's true and happy about the print of the gain more. But Lamaisa, the actual straw, as Baruch was saying, you should be happier now, Baruch. The actual keren, the straw, the slippery straw, right at the beginning was a problem, right? The problem was the actual thing. The gain is you're being even worse. You're making money on the cheshbon of the damages. But there's a huge difference. Over there, the actual principle was a good thing. Here, the principle, the fichi, disgusting, slippery straw, is not good. Obviously, that's a difference. And Mele says, Rav, I'm going to cancel you both the profit and the basic, because the basic is not a good thing. V'ziri Amar Lecho. First, what? Lan. V'ziri Amar Lecho. Ano dam refilu Rabbi Meir. Zeir on his side says, I can exist with everyone. I can be friendly with Rabbi Meir too. How come? Rabbi Meir was strict in Ribis. What did Rabbi Meir say in Ribis? Everything, take away. Ribis and Keren. And Zeiri is nice, and he says you leave the Keren alone. How can Zeiri be with Rabbi Meir? Ad kan lo kama Rabbi Meir osom, el nishas ksiva, the ovad lei suma. It's not shuma, which I'd like to say, but it's suma. Over there, by the time of ksiva, he already sinned. When you wrote, as that's why I stressed it to you before. That's why I emphasized before. When you go to the lawyer's office and you get alva beribis, or even, you buy an apartment or sell an apartment and there's ribis involved, and there's no heter iska, you over nisra de oraisa, my friend. You know that? So the moment ribis was written, not given, written, already there's an avera. The Mele says, Rabbi Meir, you did an avera. Even if he doesn't pay it, even if he dies before or doesn't pay or not or something, it doesn't make a difference. The actual loan is already an isser. So time-wise, the loan took place, there's already an isser. The Mele says, Rabbi Meir, hey, mister, you're over an avera, we're going to do, how do you say nice British, do you in, do you up, we'll do you. Well, what? Yeah, we'll do you in. That's it. You're done. Minced meat. Aval hocha miyema demazik. But over here, how do you know it's going to cause nezek? Lamaisa, over here, when the person placed cash in the street, that's not a nice thing to do. But let's say nobody slipped in it. Nobody slipped in it, Baruch Hashem. It's been there for 3 days. Everyone's careful. Everyone's careful. It lives in Yekishville. Everybody walks, they watch where they walk, they watch their step. And now nobody, did he do anything wrong? Yes and no. There's no avera be'etzem to place my cash. It's not civil, it's not nice, and don't offer him as a shidduch for my daughter. But lemaisa, there's no real clear black and white avera done, but just placing the straw. Mimela over here, Zairi would say, listen, although it's dangerous and not nice, but Lamaisa, no damage yet was done yet. Afterwards, it gets profit and he's making profit with potential hazard. We don't like the smell of it, mister. And therefore, if somebody takes it away, does a public service, and he keeps it to himself, we'll say thank you very much to him. But the principle, we will give you, Mr. Cash owner, because the fact the cash was there, as long as nobody tripped on it, is not potentially bad. Potentially, not practically such a bad thing. But Shenken by Ribis, no. Ribis is a 6. There's the Oraisa, Mr. Malve, even if 1 dime of extra wasn't yet paid. You did such an Avera right away, time-wise. Oy vavoy. We continue right, left, and center on the Keren too, says Rabbi Meir. There are 2 differences. So let's repeat, let's review. There are 2 differences. Each one is, it's like I would call negative and positive. The negative point by the ribis is the ribis takes away, the avera takes takes place right away. The avera kicks in straight away, even if nothing was done. Placing a cash is not nice and not friendly, not good, but as long as nothing happened, you can't say that he did any clear avera midoraisa. That's a plus over here. On the other hand, by ribis, there is a maila. By ribis, the principle itself is a good thing. We don't look at the timeline. Look at the actual, I would call them the object, the issue of principle and extra. By ribis, the principle is good. I lend money to the person and doing him a favor. The ribis is a terrible avera riding on it. The Yetzer Hara interferes whenever you want to do something good. There's a good thing called alva with a big, black, disgusting dog called ribis lying on it. So there, but the principle is good. So Rabbanan say, don't touch the principle. Mashenken by us, the galal himself is a problem, not the gain, or the cash. The cash itself is not yet a problem. Potentially, the cash is a problem. Now that's going to happen later. As Baruch very correctly said, later on it actually gets better. Mimela we say, each one has its pros and cons. So Ziri and Rad was one machloikes, and Chachamim and Rabbi Meir is a different machloikes. Baruch Hashem, they say no divorce is happy divorce. It's true, except for the divorce between Tanoim and Amoraim. When Tanoim say one thing and Amoraim say one thing, we manage to untangle both machloiksim as we did now. That's very good. We are not yet in North Korea. We still have some free speech in this country. Yes, go ahead. Yeah. Third wide line. Baba Kama, LB, Lamadamud base. Lema Kani Tanoi. Oi, oi, oi. Rav and Zairi, we're not leaving them alone. And from now on, we are in a specific country. You guess which one. Between China and South Korea lies, it's like a small, rectangle over there. And that's where we are now. Thank you. Enjoy yourselves. At the entrance, there are 3 statues. You're not allowed to bow down to them. So it's all. Let us say like these Tanoim. A person took out his straw to Reshus Harabim, Lizvolim, in order to make it into nice manure. Fertilizer, somebody else was hurt by that. You're not allowed. You have to pay the kolakad ben zocho, and whoever gets it first, whoever grabs, up for grabs. You took it, you get it. The asurim mishum gezel, but you're not allowed to take it because it's gezel. Even in North Korea, there's too much, right? You're allowed to take it, but you're not allowed to take it. North Korea. Shimon, so the question, the Gemara will ask you a question. I'm a mind reader, not only, I know exactly what everyone's asking, and the Gemara is going to ask your questions. Now, Rab Shimon ben Gamliel Oimer, Rab Shimon Gamliel says, Kol mekalkel in Reshus Harabim ve'eziku chayov in l'shalem. By the way, that's very similar to our Mishnah. Rashbag Ki'ilu repeats Tanakam and says what? Whoever destroys, disturbs creates hazard in Rishus Rabim, and it created and he really damaged someone, you got to pay. The kol hakodim ben zocho, whoever wants, up for grabs. Yeah, you take it, be a good citizen, and take it home and use it, no problem. Efker umutarim mishum gezel. Oh, at least Rav makes sense, right? Rav says, and not Rav, excuse me. What? Rav Shimon Gamliel says. Yeah, right. Rav Shimon Gamliel says that, yes, it's mutar mishum gezel. Don't feel any guilt, Mr. Street cleaner. When you take it to yourself, when you take it home, it's mutar. What's so lichoira? We say what? What's the difference? Besides the fact that Tanakama doesn't make sense because it contradicts himself, lichoira. Also, there's another issue here. Tanakama seems to be more resistant. Says maybe there's an issue of gezel. And Rav Shimon Gamliel, he says, no, everything is allowed. So you see, Rav Shimon Gamliel allows more than Tanakama. So we try to allege it to Rav and Zeiri. Before we learn how we do that, the Gemara asks the question, Hagufa kasha, leave Rav and Zeiri alone. First of all, deal with your own issues. You just read me a brisa, which doesn't make sense. I was enjoying myself looking at all of you raising your eyebrows. Gufa kasha. What's gufa kasha? The brisa as of itself is difficult. Amarto kol hakodim ben zocho. You said whoever wants can get it. Whoever gets it first, whoever gets. Yeah, hefker. Excuse me. You just said it's also mishum gezel. If it's also mishum gezel, how can you take it, right? It's hefker and gezel. Ela lav achi komar. Must be what? The kol hakodim ben zocho b'shivchon. Very, very easy answer. As hard as the question was, the answer is very easy. Look at what Tanakama says. Whoever wants can grab it what? Can grab the shvach, can grab the extra 40 shekels. But the gezel would be on the principal. That sounds to me like who? You have to give change. You only can take a little bit. Only the gain. But the basic, Zeiri. Very good. Yeah, Zeiri. Mimela Tanakama seems to be Zeiri's good friend. And then the Osar ben Shem Gamliel Meimal comes the other opinion Roshbag. What does he say? Afilu gufanami kolakon ben zocho. Oh, Roshbag says what? You can take everything. It's mutter and mutter twice. It's allowed and it's not gezel. Meaning what? Yes, you can do whatever you want. Take the principal, take the shvach, go home and feed your ground, whatever, fertilize your ground, belev shalom, with no hard feelings, yeah, no bad conscience. According to Zeiri, we see some machlokes Tanoi. According to Zeiri, we must say Zeiri follows the opinion of Tanakama. Okay, but if Zeiri follows one opinion, it's not such a problem unless Rav only follows the other opinion. According to Rav, is he really siding with Roshbag, and that would not be good? No. The kula al makom sugufan mishum shvachon. Says Rav, no. Everybody in the Mishnah believes. Everybody in the Mishnah follows me, or I follow everyone. Everybody in the Mishnah, both Tanakama and Roshbag, both say that there is a knas, and really you are allowed to take everything. Why did Tanakama say gezel? What did Tanakama mean it's gezel? The hocho, listen carefully, very interesting answer, which we spoke about in other places. The halacha ve'ein morin ken kamiflagi. Many times we see in halacha, and we saw that in Horios, remember? Sometimes there is halacha, which is a halacha in theory, but you don't really tell the people to follow that halacha. And that's a machloikis, which means, Tanakama says as follows. Tanakama says, listen, when a person comes to Beis Din and he asks us, Rabbi Dayan, am I allowed to actually lemaisa? Is that really true what I learned in Amud Yomi in Beis Tzvi? Can I actually take that garbage thing home and take everything and grab everything? Chachamim will tell you the profit you can take, but the principle, the basic one, to take the basic thing, lechatchila it's gezel. Don't do it, it's gezel. However, if the person already took it home, and it's in his possession, and then he's asking the Dayanim Lachar Maisa. Sometimes it happens, people ask the Rav a question after the Maisa. You're in distress, you didn't know what to do. No, it happens technically. Yeah, sometimes, I just learned yesterday with a chosan, I teach a chosan. A lady has to ask a question for a Rav. The Rav is not home, he's the only Rav in town, and she doesn't have to go to the mikveh or not. She goes to the mikveh without brocho, hoping it's good. Then she asks the question, and if he says it was okay, then he should then retroactively the tefillah is okay. So sometimes you ask questions lachar ma'aseh, you have no choice. I'm not saying it's good, but let's say there's no other choice. So let's say the guy took it home because it was really tempting and he really needed it. No Rav was in town. All the Rabbani were in a holiday in the Tzimerim. And now he's asking the Rav, what should I do? But the Evid, you can keep it. But the Evid, you can keep it yourself because the Motzim Chavel of Araya. But Lechatchila will tell you it's Gezel. Now the Itma. And now we're going to see, and we're about to finish now. Rav Huna says on behalf of Rav himself. Wow, that's the man himself. Rav says la halacha, halacha ve'en morin ken. It's halacha. Yes, you're allowed to take both, not only the shevach, also the principle, but don't try it at home. If people ask the dayan on time, a priori, as they say, before the Maisa, you tell him, don't take the principal, leave it for him, give him a change of 10 shekels or manure in that level of that value. Avada Barava says, yes, lechatchila, go ahead. No hard feelings. You can take it, lechatchila, the whole thing, the principal and the gain. So machlokes Rav, Rav Huna b'shem Rav, and Ravada Barava. Frag the Gemara, now we're going to see that these Amaroim, one of them, did not practice what he preached. Eini, is that so? The Rav Huna afkar chushli. Rav Huna himself was mafkir the chushli. What does that mean? Chushli there were barley grains that were like nice and ready for the cholent. They were klufin. They were already new. They were peeled. Thank you. They were peeled barley seeds that can get slippery, and he put it in the middle of the street. Chacham wants it to dry in the sun, and people can slip into the whole thing. They make a very funny movie, but not funny reality. They slip into the whole thing of soirim. And Rav Huna said, well, yes, take it straight away, and you can do it. Take it. Now Rav Huna contradicted himself. Rav Huna quoted Rav as saying, "Ein morin ken lechatchila." Lechatchila, you don't take everything. You leave the keren. And here he said, yes, you can take everything. Ravada Barava afkir slikusta. Ravada Barava also told people lechatchila that they're allowed to take slikusta is basically some kind of, when you take dates, you can make alcoholic drink from dates. I don't know what it's called. It's called, in English, there's a name for it, I don't know, like alcoholic date drink. But the leftovers, there's a psilus, which is a gui and guki, the gook that stays behind, that person left it in the street. So everyone can slip on it, and he can somehow improve it, okay? So now, and Rav Barava said, oh yes, take the whole slikusta, this whole garbage thing, take it home, don't feel bad, everything. Bishlam Ravada Barava Kishmaite. Ravada Barava is consistent with his Shmaite, with his Alocha Moirin Ken. Ela Ravuna Lema Odabe. Ravuna seems to not be consistent. Ravuna originally quoted Rav, who is the big master, that says, don't take it lechatchila. If you took it, it's okay. But to begin with, don't take everything, only the shvach. And yet, Ravuna, is saying now, yes, you can take everything. Did he actually regret what he said? Did he revoke his psak? Answers the Gemara, very, very important thing, la'alocha l'maisa, hanu mutrin havu, not mutarin, mutrin havu. Wow, a whole new factor at the end of the sugya. Says Rashi, hitu kama pamim bebalim, boruch means, that's going to answer your question we got upset before. Let's say the person put it in a hazardous way, a hazard in the Rishus Harabim, and the Beth Din came and warned him once and warned him twice, and they said, listen, this is a public hazard, take it home, or else we don't know what's going to happen, we don't know what we're going to do to you, take it away. And he went, and his reaction was, these religious rabbis are enforcing their law on me, that's not nice, I'm from Meretz. Yeah, so this guy was warned a few times, and he did not listen. In such a case, even Rav would agree that you can take everything, including the principle. When there was no warning, which means it wasn't as bad as hazardous, we say, okay, have more rachmanus, and then lechatchila leave him the principle, just take away the revach. But if he was warned already and he ignores the warning, he's a bad boy, really bad boy. In such a case, if there is no mercy, you lechatchila take everything, feel good about it. Take everything to yourself, principle and everything, and that's halacha l'maisa. I'm not saying try to tone with nezikin in the street, that's the based in here. But that's basically the maskana of the Gemara. Questions? We're out. We're back in Tel Aviv. Yeah, continue the Mishnah. We can read 2 lines from the Mishnah. Yeah, good. Says the Heilige Mishnah, Shakal Nir B'Dvor, Baruch Atah Adonai. This Mishnah is the Mishnah which I promised you we're going to learn about traffic rules. Yeah, traffic laws are here in this Mishnah. Yeah, nowadays you can have BMW bumping into an Opel, and now in the times of the Mishnah, what do you have? Well, we have people walking, one with one jug, the other with another jug, one with a jug, the other one with a beam, and they bumped into each other. An accident, a car accident, a pedestrian accident. What happens then? Shnei kadorin shemalchin ze achar ze. 2 kadarin. Kadar is a person who walks with a kedera or with a pot. He has a large pot or a jug, a big jug on his shoulder. Shemalchin ze achar ze. They're walking one behind the other. V'nitkal harishon. The first one was nitkal. The first one bumped into something and fell. V'nofal. V'nitkal hasheni barishon. The second one, what we call in Hebrew a chain accident. It's called chain reaction accident. The second one bumped into the first one. Harishon chayav b'nizka sheni. The first one is chayav to pay the nezokim of the second one. It's the fault of the first one that bumped into something without looking, as he was having this heavy thing. He's looking at his smartphone and therefore he bumps into everything. That's why in some countries in the world already have red and green light on the street, on the pavement, on the sidewalk, because people are walking down by the phone. They don't look up anymore because shivisi iPhone lenegdi tomid, don't remove their eyes from the phone. And he bumped. The other guy bumped behind him. The first one is chayv everything. That sounds simplistic, but lamaisa, there's a lot of chidushim here, of course, kayadua, and we're going to see that in Mirza Hashem in the morrow. Thank you very much. Tizkol mitzvahs. Have a great week. Hatzlach rabba me'bizoiche bedin. Thank you very much.